are going to start the next topic of the third chapter of biology, that is binomial nomenclature, and we also covered the impacts of human being on the biodiversity. So what actually is the binomial nomenclature? Binomial, its name is indicating that it means that bi means two and nomial means name. The process of giving names by the two different names, that is being called as the binomial nomenclature method of giving scientific names to the living organisms. So the word binomial suggests the scientific name of species consists of the two names. The first name is the name of genus and the second one is the name of species, as we learned in the first chapter about the Brassica campestris and Rana tigrina. So these are the scientific names, and according to it, Rana and tigrina, these are the two names. Brassica and campestris, these were also the two names. So we will study now that what are the rules that are universally accepted while giving the scientific names to the organisms. Scientific names are usually printed in italics, like if you are typing, if it is in the printed form, it should be in the italics, like it is written as Homo sapiens. But when we write it by our hand, then it should be underlined. The first term, the first name, is called as a generic name, and it always begins with the capital letter, while the species name, the second name, is the species name and it is capitalized even when derived from a proper name, so it should never be capitalized. So the scientific name is generally written in full when it is first used, but if we are giving names to the several species, so in this way the generic name can be abbreviated. For example, you can see it is Escherichia coli. So if you are using it again and again, the first name can be written as a disc with the first letter, and the second name, the species name, should be complete. Now, what is actually the significance of giving the scientific names to the organisms? There were many common names of the organisms, of the plants, of the animals, due to which it was creating problem for the researchers. For example, that there are common name of onion in Urdu is pyaz, but in different region of Pakistan it is also known as the basil or ganda or vessel. Like the single organism the single living thing has the different names. So in this way, it was creating the problem for the researchers. So they worked on it and gave a scientific name, that is Allium cepa, that is universally accepted by the scientists. And in this way, it was easy for the researchers to understand that about which organism we are talking. For example, the name blackbird is used for the crow as well as for the raven. Like same name is being used for the two different organisms. It was also creating problem. So a single scientific name was given to all the organisms, and it will be universally accepted by all the scientists around the world. So common names have no scientific basis, and it is in this way the binomial nomenclature was being introduced. The next thing is about the conservation of biodiversity. That how can we conserve the biodiversity? As we know that our biodiversity is being affected, being harmed by the two main reasons. The first one is the deforestation, that is the cutting of trees, and the second one is overhunting, that is hunting the animals for different uses, for making the clothes, for making different for the food as well. So in this way, the organisms are becoming endangered or extinct, like the lion, tiger, Asiatic cheetah. These all organisms are some of them are extinct now, and while most of them are endangered. So what is actually the main impact of human beings on the biodiversity? If we go 10,000 years ago, there were about 5 million people on the earth. As the time is passing, the agriculture industry is increasing, human population is growing, so the need of the food and shelter is also increasing. That is why what happened, that people started doing the hunting to and deforestation as well. Because of the deforestation, there is the loss of habitat. Means कि लोगों के जो एनिमल्स थे उनके घर ख़त्म हो गए, उनके रहने की जगह ख़त्म हो गई. सेम वे द ओवर हंटिंग कैन ऑल्सो कॉजेज द extinct of the species. In this way, it is mainly the habitat loss is probably the greatest threat to the biodiversity on the earth today, because because of the habitat loss, the animals will move from one place to the other one. If they are living in the Pakistan, they went to some other forest in some other country. That is also affecting our biodiversity. The main reason, deforestation. What are the causes and effects of the deforestations? Sometimes there is a slow forest degradation, and sometimes sudden and catastrophic clear cutting of urban development. Like for developing a city, for developing for making some industries, it happens that there is a sudden clear cutting of the trees, and it causes the very huge effect on the biodiversity. Deforestation can be the result of the deliberate removal of forest for wood. The wood is also needed for the purpose of agriculture or for the purpose of urban development. These are the three main reasons of the deforestation. Now, what are the effects that are causing that deforestation is causing on the people? That water in soil and moisture in atmosphere is mainly affected by it. When there are no trees to keep soil in place, there are more chances of the soil erosion. If there is heavy rainfall, it washes the soils and river and causes the flooding. The essential nutrients are being removed from the soil. Rivers become choked up with the muds and slate, which can definitely cause the floods. So these are some of the main causes of the deforestation. Another thing, that forest also supports the biodiversity. So the utilization of forest products, including the timber, fuel, wood, have played a key role in the human societies. Today, developed countries continue to utilize timber for building houses and wood pulp for making the paper. That is why there is more deforestation. Then the forest products industry is a large part of the economy in developed and developing countries. So people are obviously using more timber for all these things, and the forest extract carbon dioxide and pollutants from the air. The main purpose of the advantage of forest is what? It absorbs carbon dioxide and pollutants from the air and make and stabilize the biosphere. So forests are also valued for their aesthetic beauty and tourist attraction as well. So if there is more deforestation, the beauty will be lost, the carbon dioxide content will be increased, there will be more pollutants in the air. So deforestation should be avoided. The other thing is overhunting. Overhunting becomes it has a significant use of extinction of hundreds of species and the endangered of many more, such as the whale, ibex, and markhor, which is the national animal of Pakistan. And the commercial hunting, both legal and illegal, is the principal threat for all the living organisms. What are the steps that were taken for the conservation of the biodiversity? The two main things that are the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resource and the World Wildlife Fund Pakistan. These two organizations played the main role in conservation of biodiversity. The first thing there is the given was the National Conservation Strategy, which was given in 1980s, in which IUCN and the government of Pakistan formulated the National Conservation Strategy for the Pakistan for the conservation of biodiversity. Then the second one is the UN Convention on Combating Desertification. This is an international treaty against damage and property in the drylands. It was signed by Pakistan in 1997. Then Himalayan Jungle Project. It was started in 1991 in the Palas Valley in KPK. It aimed at protecting one of the richest areas of biodiversity in Pakistan. Then conservation of biodiversity of the Suleiman Range, Balochistan. Suleiman Range Chilhoza forest is the largest Chilhoza forest in the world. So in 1992, the worldwide WWFP that started its conservation program to conserve the Chilhoza forest. In Northern Areas Conservation Project, the northern areas of Pakistan serve as a habitat for the number of wildlife species. So it was also conserved so the wild animals cannot be overhunted. Then conservation of migratory birds in Chitral, KP. Chitral lies on the migratory route of several important bird species. Birds of also face the enormous hunting pressure. So WWFP initiated the efforts to reduce the hunting pressure in 1992. The efforts proved successful. Then the conservation of Chiltan Marhor, that is the national animal of Pakistan. It was in Hazarganji National Park, that was located in the Quetta. WWFP also played role to manage the plan of the park. Then the games that in which the animals are being used was also banned, and it was considered as the illegal practice. Now there are some of the endangered species in Pakistan. The first one is Indus dolphin, in which according to WWFP only 600 animals of the species of Indus dolphin are left today in the Indus River, and the population of this species declined due to water pollution and destruction of the habitat as well. Then the second one is Marco Polo sheep. These are mostly found in Khunjrab National Park and nearby areas, and their numbers have been rapidly decreasing in the last 2 decades. WWFP has started projects for its conservation. In Hobora Buster, the bird flies to Pakistan in winter season from former Soviet treaty and settles in the Cholistan and Thar Desert. The decline in its population is due to hunting by foreigners and destruction of the habitats. The foreigners came, and also because of the destruction habitat, it was also affected. So this is all about the biodiversity. I hope everything will be clear to you. Thank you.